Hello and welcome to I Want to Grow, and I Want to Grow is all about that, right? It's about our growth, but with our guests, it's not about their growth, it's about them helping others grow. And today, we have a very special guest. Hayk, thank you coming all the way from New York and your hometown, Armenia. So please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Thank you so much for inviting, Steve. I've been waiting to meeting you here, and it's an honor and pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much. It's my second time here in Qatar. I'm the executive board member of the International Chamber of Commerce in Armenia and United Nations Climate Technology Center and Network National Focal Point. And I've been leading the National Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Armenia for almost 4 years. So I was invited by the government of Armenia to join the new direction of the country and transform it.
And it is just that you're helping in so many areas. Like you said, you're in part of this innovation, but you're also in part of the International Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, exactly. Right.
There's so many positions that you've got that you're taking on right now.
You know, everybody is saying, how many hats are you willing to wear? But at this point, I have a lot of energy. And, you know, as you are saying, it gives you so much joy to try to help to bring country to new level of development.
Yeah, but it's kind of you go beyond that. We were just joking before we came on air, in the sense that we were just talking about saying, you've just flew in from New York. And the joke was, we haven't slept for 24 hours, not 24 hours, I think it was 48 hours
yes,
you
exactly.
haven't slept for. How do you keep yourself motivated like that? The traveling and everything how do you keep your mind stimulated? It's on the go all the time.
Yeah, you know, at some point I understood that probably God gave me, like, the last 4 or 5 years so much energy, and I feel that, you know, I need to utilize this energy to some practical international big cooperation programs, and not only related to Armenia, but to our partner countries as well. And you know, I'm trying to be as much as effective as possible. That's why I know the time is very limited. It flies very rapidly. And until this point, I'm quite happy about what have been done within this last 4 years. I returned to Armenia from diaspora. I've been living most of my life in different countries. But as a diaspora Armenian, when there was a transition in the government, change of the democratic new government, they started to invite experts from abroad to join. And I know, like Qatar, we have big number of people who live in other countries as well, and this is one of the strengths of Qatar.
That responsibility of being head of innovation in your country, that responsibility, that's a huge burden on your shoulders, or is it? How do you manage that?
Yeah, Steve, you are right. You know, Armenia was, after Soviet Union collapse, it was quite a difficult period for our country. And, you know, institutions were not working properly. Quite a terrible situation, and you know, many challenges. But then the new government decided to build systematic institutions, and you know, I offered Prime Minister, let's build National Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. I would say it's a long process, because in every government there is so much bureaucracy, and you need to pass some steps to build some like stable institute. But on the way of building it, simultaneously we've been doing lots of programs. But of course, we have many things to learn from countries like Qatar and our neighbors in Europe and the United States and other colleagues, and we are very open to new ideas and expertise.
I've been going to Armenia now for the last 4 years, and I'm not just saying this because I'm speaking to you, but you have some kind of, I don't know whether it's the water you drink, but you've got some smart people in Armenia. Yeah, really, from a technology gifted, from a physics perspective, it's like just a really kind of smart people.
Yeah, you know, apparently Armenia was so-called Silicon Valley. We call it mountain, Silicon Mountains of the Soviet Union. So we all, like most of the engineering factories and high technologies were done in Armenia. And now we're trying to rebuild all this heritage we had. Because of this, if you see diaspora Armenians, we have more Armenians globally than in the country, like 3 times more in other countries than in Armenia. And many inventions were built by Armenians. Now we want to focus on these innovations, and that's why I'm coming from New York. You know, I travel to many countries and I meet diaspora Armenians, not only Armenians, of course, but this is end of the year before Christmas. You know, they gather and they talk about quite influential, high-profile, very successful people. They talk about how we can do mutually to build this cooperation between country where we are and Armenia.
So you've got 3, I think it's, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you've got 3 million Armenians
Yes.
in Armenia. But outside, I think it's between 8 to 10 million.
Exactly right.
But I love the community, because when we talked about Savan and the Seaside Startup
Yes.
Summit, and you see, I only see a fraction of the people that's coming from all over the world,
Yes.
that diaspora
Right.
of people that you've got around the world, and you see some absolute experts coming from all over the world. That must be it, and everybody wants to work together.
Yes.
That's another thing I
Yes,
see,
right.
and everybody wants to help one another. and it is quite, it was quite. I was taken back by it, because I know that everybody would like to think that we all work together, but you tend to all work together.
You know, there is little bit difference in the understanding of the way we should work together from different diaspora Armenians in different countries and local Armenians. So, and this is good. We are in constant discussions, you know, and I would say most importantly, we position ourselves at this point as the country which is between East and West. Small country, like a hub, technological hub, engineering hub, maybe logistics hub in the future. Like Qatar also positions itself as a hub here. Also a small country like us with a small population, but very talented people.
You've got so many people moving out of, so you've got the moving out of to go into that area outside of. How do you keep that talent? How do you keep the talent into Armenia? How do you got to constantly build it? That's
great question, Steve. Thank you so much. You know, the new government, they initiated a program to bring the talent back to Armenia, like highly qualified experts. Some of the programs, they are bringing experts to the government. Like me, I was brought to the government to join the government. Myself, I initiated another program which was quite a big governmental program to give subsidies and salary reimbursement to highly qualified, not only Armenians, any nationalities who would want to come and work in Armenian companies inside the country. And we benefit from that we receive so many experts from abroad. And this gives big dynamics and change.
And you see that growing?
Yes, we do. Of course, we still have a lot of road to pass and way. I think we still have problems of institutional development, you know. But the private sector is becoming stronger. Most importantly, again, because of our diaspora. You know, just recently, one of our companies, Armenian companies, like startups, Service Titan, went to IPO in Nasdaq. Around $10 billion valuation, and we have other unicorns, and most of them more or less are related to Armenians who are abroad. This is one of our advantages, like benefits, and we want to bring them not only to Armenia, bring their expertise. You know, many colleagues, let's say from Georgia, they're saying, do you have access to this company? I am saying, yes, I do, because I have some colleagues, Armenians, who work there. They're saying, can you please introduce? Sure, we're very open. Or I would say, International Chamber of Commerce. I joined them from this beginning of this year, and there is a chapter in Doha, and very influential. And we're starting cooperation with them. Again, big network of around 40 million business people and corporations and companies globally.
Incredible.
Yeah, and we want to utilize this network for mutual diversify economic cooperation. Again, not only in Armenia. Again, because the world is becoming very small, and we really want to do business together, economic.
I think that the world's becoming so much more competitive.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And there's no, it's one of those areas that you can't stand still. If you stand still, you're moving backwards.
I agree. Yes.
And if you find yourself as a business standing still, then there's so many companies that are chasing for that unique selling point.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And but again, I like the university side of things with you guys, because you also you encourage them to go and do some internships with countries all around the world, with your diaspora, where you've got other Armenian companies that are out there, but you get them to go and learn from a different part of the world, and then bring them back to Armenia.
Yes, right. Still, we need to develop more. This is a great, potential program. We've been talking about this, that the government needs to give more incentives, because they bring so much expertise, so much network back. But now at this point, we even do not consider bringing them back. They can go work there. They can be helpful from abroad as well. For example, I'm, as I mentioned, involved at the United Nations programs as well. That's why I was in New York. I was meeting colleagues at the United Nations, Deputy Secretary General and other colleagues. And so many programs are happening there which we are not aware of. And they are very, very open. Let's say they're going to do, I think in April, SDG Investment Summit in Europe. They're saying, please come participate. There is so much resource and potential. And, we want to bring presence of our representatives in different international institutions so that we just participate and show that we are here, and let's cooperate, openly cooperate.
Has that got something to do with your quality of life? Because I was talking with Sona, and she was saying that you're like Qatar. You're in the top 6 of safest places to live in the world.
Yes, right, yeah.
What is that winning formula? Because it seems like Qatar's got that winning formula. Whether you ask me what that is, there's several factors, obviously. But what is it, the factor with Armenia?
I think we have many, many similarities. Yes, right, safety. We're a traditional country. We are both religious countries. We have values. We respect elder people, and we respect each other. Of course, there are some problems we need to solve, but this ancient tradition we're trying to keep, mutual understanding, respect. You can leave anything in Qatar on the table, and nobody will take it. Same in Armenia, even like here, they will find you, they will give it back to you, and I'm so happy that my kids, they can go alone to buy a bread and come back home, and it gives you a sense of safety. Now, still, I think we need to focus more on innovations. Traditions are great; we need to preserve them, but together with some modern innovations, like our great friends from Qatar, it gives you better strength. And we're on the way.
I agree. I agree with you. But what I love, where I see innovation strengthen, is when people come together.
Oh yes.
And when people come together, then because you can't do it all on your own, right? You've got to do it within a team. And when you give that platform where people can come together and you can learn from their strengths, but also their weaknesses, because those things that they've made mistakes of in the past, you can learn from those and you don't have to make the same mistakes. So I like that. And that's what I like about Armenia, is the way that everybody that I've ever met will go out of their way to help the other person.
Yes, we have even to your, like, we're guests at your podcast together. I came not alone. You know, I am not a one-man, one-man show is not about myself. And, you know, what I just wanted to say also, for example, one of the programs, Mars Analog Simulation in Armenia, just recently, NASA started in Arizona initially, then in some other countries they continued, then the European Space Agency did in European countries, and together with diaspora Armenians which are in Europe, we attracted Austrians and they did Mars Analog Simulation. We built a base in one of the Marses in Armenia, and if you look on the base and you will think, right, you are on Mars, and they did very successful simulation program which will lead to global Mars Analog Simulation. And this like small example will not have happened if there was no like unity of some like-minded people. And I think, you know, one probably last thing what I wanted to add from myself, and still I think, Steve, that it is very difficult to unite most people, what I experience, but it is quite easy to unite, to be united on same goals. Maybe like 90% of what you're thinking is not similar, but if you focus on these 10% global goals you want to accomplish together, with small like-minded group, even you can change many things.
I think that it comes down to is the culture side to it, the trust element. The respect is another one. The respect, and respecting other people. Everybody, they've got their own culture, and respect is one of the biggest words. And those are the ways that you build that trust, right?
Yes, right.
And you build that community. And I say community because that's something that I've seen over the years. Is people say to me, they say, "Oh, you must have seen all the changes with here in Qatar." And I look at it and I say, yeah, I've seen the buildings, I've seen the infrastructure, I've seen education just go crazy, the medical side of things, and that's all real positive. But what I haven't seen any changes with is the way that people are.
I see.
And the way that they respect others, and the way that they're welcoming. And what that is that's infectious to us all. So you've got that as the core, the locals, but that also taps into the expats. And I think that's one thing that I would say that I haven't seen change. I've just seen that momentum get stronger. And that's what I love about Qatar. That's why I suppose I call Qatar my home, is because of those aspects, because of that culture and respect. And they really do want to see you succeed. And that's a really good thing. But again, and I think that's why I do love going to Armenia. At first, I remember the first time I'm thinking, oh my word, the Armenian mafia. No such thing. But I was worried about that. But you look at it, Armenia is just one of those same places. They've got huge culture. They've got history. They've got determination. They've got all of those things that has that winning formula to make something and create something special. And I know that so many Armenians go abroad, but that's true testament because they don't just go to abroad and look after themselves. They always look after everyone else also.
Exactly.
And that's what I like about it.
And we were introduced by one of those Armenians, Rafi Bakjan,
exactly.
who has been living here, and then he introduced us.
Of course. and those are the powerful things that never, we're going to be friends for life.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing that we've got to keep on doing. And whether people want to be, and we can, unfortunately, if people don't want to join this movement, okay, it's okay. There's 8 billion people in the world. You can stand over there. If you don't want to be part of the movement, don't be part of the movement. Let people get on and do what they want to do. But I know that power, and the power is going to be there, that more and more people are going to want to join this movement.
Yes.
And that's where I see yourself.
Thank
The way that all the things that you're doing and for your country now. And I see the burden that's on your shoulders because you're creating something that's going to be for that country. It's going to be for so many different individuals. And the policies that you bring in are going to be life-changing.
Thank you so much. And I really want to cooperate with Qatar, with people like you, with people like Hamad from Snunu and other.
He's a great guy, right?
Yes, indeed. And, I've seen with such a small period of time so much respect. And thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. And I really do appreciate you being my friend. What's the next steps for you? What do you got in front of you when you go, okay, you've got Christmas coming up.
Yes.
That's a celebration there's going to be a lot of us that's going to have. But what's the next steps for you in the new year? What does 2025 bring you?
We are on the stage of economic diversification, Armenia as a country. And now we're focusing more to work not on our most traditional markets, like post-Soviet markets. We were great with them, but we want to diversify and build stronger relations with EU, our colleagues from Qatar and Middle East, and United States. So I think there's plenty of work on building these economic cooperations, and I will do all my efforts to develop this as much as possible.
And I really do want to help you. From the Middle East side of things, I want to try and help you as much as possible here in Qatar, but also in Saudi Arabia. I think that's a really up and growing. But you've got so many different places. Dubai, you've got Oman. It's supposed to be one of them, and I can't wait to go there. But it's supposed to be one of those special places. So we've got this whole area that we can tap into, in the sense that they've got virtually the same culture as you guys.
Yes, right.
It's like, and they definitely want to develop, and the knowledge sharing that I think that can happen is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, we understand each other so quickly, even though we have like slightly different history, culture, religion, etc. But we understand and catch each other very rapidly.
I've got some questions that I ask virtually everyone, and they'll all know those questions are coming. The first one is who has been your inspirations? What is driven you to be who you are today?
I would be honest with you. My Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's my ultimate inspiration.
Nice one. And the other question that I was going to ask you was, what would you give your a message to your 15-year-old self? If you could give yourself a message when you were 15, what would it be?
I would say that life is not going to be easy, and this is not bad. When you go through many hurdles, you become stronger, and sometimes you need to sacrifice, but the results will definitely be very you will be happy if you sacrifice. And as you mentioned in the beginning, you help others, but of course it is not easy, but the result will be definitely successful. Just don't give up.
It's don't give up. I can't agree with people. I can't agree with you more. This one of the only things is don't give up. Did you ever see yourself having this role 20 years ago?
No, I've never could have imagined that I will be part of the government. I've been. My father is a businessman, quite successful, so I continued his business in development, constructions, factories, export, restaurants, like different things. I had a small IT company, but part of the government, and now you see that. Not only government, international organizations, governmental corporations, you bring impact and you bring like quite fast results, and you feel good that you can do something for this world, something like to the mankind, not only focus on small nation problems, but we're all people of this planet, and we need to cooperate to make it better.
I think for you this is just the beginning of your journey. I can see something very big coming for you in what you're going to achieve for your country, and it's so good to know you.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to cooperate and do many things together.
Hayk, I thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's been a real privilege and honor to have you here, and especially coming all the way from coming directly to come and see us on the podcast from New York.
It's an honor for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much indeed. Thank you. Thank you guys for listening. For one, listen, you never know when you're going, where you're going, what age you are, where you're going in life. But I tell you, everything that you're doing, there's a purpose for it, and there's an experience that you're gaining where, again, in later life, you can go on and help inspire others. You can help show people the way. Go and do those things. Keep on learning. And if you are going through a tough time, okay, it's just a journey. It will pass, and you will become stronger for it. And you will look back on those years and you'll think to yourself, thanks that I went through all those issues, those problems, because it's made me stronger. Enjoy the podcast. Enjoy our guests. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for Workington. As always, we wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you so much indeed. And thanks for this week. See you all next week. Bye for now.